morning, or good evening, or good afternoon, and welcome to the Sheep and Cheerful podcast, episode 23. My name is Nicky, and I will be your host and CEO of all things Sheep and Cheerful today. This is a podcast about creativity, about living as crafty a life as possible in my little corner of the world, in as cheerful a way as possible. That's not to say we don't have some uncheerful moments, but the focus is making the most of every day and not getting irritated when your dog decides to get up and walk across the room when you're trying to record. And so it begins. For those of you who haven't watched before, welcome to the podcast. It's lovely for you to join us. I should say that I have two English Springer Spaniels, both of whom have to be in with me when I'm recording. I do have the door closed over there, but they are already in here because they would scratch on the door. So Henry, my lad, has now got himself, of course, into my podcasting chair and has curled up. So hopefully he will be quiet, apart from a little gentle snoring. Honey, my little girlie, is already over on her bed next to the chair. So fingers crossed, we can at least do a bit of the podcast without four-legged interruption. For those of you who are returning viewers, welcome back. It's lovely to see you. Thank you as always for joining me. Thank you very much for all your lovely comments that you take the time to put every week at the bottom down there. It's lovely. I do read them, and for the most part I either give a thumbs up knowing so you can see I've read them and enjoyed them, or if there's a question I will endeavour to reply or comment to it. That's about it. You can find me on Instagram as Clara Parkes. I have an Etsy shop which at the moment simply has the knitting record project cards, the PDF files in it. Nothing else terribly exciting, but the details again are down below. And you can find me on Ravelry as Clara Parkes. We also have a Ravelry Group for the podcast, which is great fun. I'm not going to bang on about that too much this week because I realised I do that every week and tell you how great it is. But it's great. So head on over there if you would like to join in some of the chat threads. It's fun, and it's also very inspirational seeing what everybody else is working on. Right, yes, also for those of you new to the podcast, I live on the south coast of the United Kingdom. Today is, wait for it, I have checked, the 14th of October, so this will be going out tomorrow, Thursday the 15th of October. Just a little sidebar here. I met a friend yesterday who I tend to meet her on a Tuesday. We do go into town, we mask up, go into town to a nice little coffee shop there that's nice and spacious. And I was filling out the old track and trace form because I don't have it on my phone at the moment. I was filling out a paper form and I said to the guy, "Oh, what is it, the 10th today?" And he looked and said, "No, it's the 13th. I said, "Oh dear, I've been giving my husband out of date food for the last 2 days." Excuse me. So yes, I had to do a little checky recce on the fridge when I got home. And then last night when I was checking whether it was bin day or not today, whether I needed to get the bins out, I looked at the calendar and I was pointing to the 25th. I think I'm date dyslexic. I think, if there's such a thing. If there is, I apologise. I'm not mocking it, but I just cannot get my head around dates. Ever since I left kind of office work, which was about 25 years ago, I just haven't got a clue what date it is. There you go. Anyway, that's not a bad thing. As Hannah will always tell me, time is a man-made construct. So, judge your time by cups of tea, is what I say. This is really, I hope this isn't irritating you, this squeak. It's an office chair that Gary brought back for me from our office because I was sitting on kitchen chairs at my desks in here in my crafting room, and it wasn't helping my back at all. So he brought back an office chair, and it's got a slightly tilty back, and it creaks. So apologies for that. Right, I think that's everything by way of introduction. We have some make-alongs going along, just 2 little make-alongs going along in the Ravelry group at the moment. We have the ongoing Scrappy blanket adventures, and I'm going to be talking to you about a new Scrappy blanket I've cast on this week, a little bit later. And we also have the Christmas bauble along, which I started at the beginning of September, so very early, but it's just for us to start chatting about Christmas baubles and hanging-y things. So I'm actually due to make another one this month. My aim was to make one a month, September, October, November, possibly December. So I would have 4 new ones this year. And I figure if I can add, well, even if I could add just one each year, then my collection would slowly grow. I have been using the Arnie and Carlos Yule Cooler, the Christmas bauble, the Knitted Baubles book, but you can use any pattern. There's quite a few free patterns on Ravelry for baubles. If you don't want to knit baubles, you can knit any little objects. We've got some knitted Brussels sprouts in the finished objects thread. We've got little mini mittens, which are so cute. I have knit a pair of those. So little tiny mittens with the string, with the yarn, you know, connecting them. I've made those before. I think I might have to make another pair to hang on the Christmas tree. Or if you're making bunting, or indeed, as I mentioned last week, there's a couple of people making little Advent mini socks to set up, to put little gifts in through Advent. So there's quite a few ideas there if you're not sure. No other rules, just something small and festive, really. So jump on in if you fancy having a go at that. It shouldn't be too big a project. You should be able to get some entries in there. And I think that's it. Yes, I have. We have a giveaway. I have a giveaway to announce the winner of. You will remember last week, if you watched, that I had made the pumpkin beanie hat from Lisa, who is DoleValleyGirlKnits on Instagram and on Ravelry. I had made the hat for Hannah's friend's little boy, and I showed some pictures last week of that. I think I may have put it on my Ravelry project page, I'm not sure. But it's certainly on my Instagram feed, so if you want to go back and have a look at that. But then I also made, I also adapted the pattern to make a pumpkin. There you are, let's put it there. It's got the little stem, and I added some viney bits there. And oh, do you know what? I can't remember. Someone very kindly pointed out that pumpkins don't have roots. Of course they don't. I knew that, really. I did know that, but obviously I don't think about things like that. So I took the viney bits out there because obviously the stalk comes out like that and the pumpkin grows like that. The roots are over here somewhere. So anyway, it's, oh, let's go over there. I'm still getting to the neck. So that pattern on a hat, and then I adapted it, also multi-use pattern, to make a pumpkin, which I stuffed. We had some entries. I'd simply said, go over to the Ravelry group. I'll open a chatter thread and just say, I said to people, who would you like to knit the beanie pattern for if you were to win it? And also, are you a pumpkin soup or a pumpkin pie kind of person? So I actually like both. I like pumpkin soup, nice thick hearty pumpkin soup. Nobody in my house likes soup, so I don't tend to make it. But I also love sweet pumpkin pie. I absolutely do. I haven't made it for a few years actually. Maybe I should make some this year. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Just for me. I'd just eat it all. That would work. So we had a few entries there. A handful of people jumped in. We had, I think we had about 12 entries, people who wanted that. So I did a random number generator and it pulled out number 8. Who was Calamity Jane 1, as in the number 1, Calamity Jane 1, and she said she would knit the hat for her cousins. she would like to knit it for her cousins. I don't know where you are, Calamity Jane. Calam. It didn't say on your Ravelry profile. I always try to have a look and see whereabouts in the world you are and what your actual name is. But you didn't. You obviously decided not to give those details out on Ravelry. So you are Calamity Jane 1, and you said you like pumpkin soup and pie. So rather like me. And you said you would. I also said that I would cake up the leftover yarn that I had from knitting my hat and from the pumpkin, because I've still got a lot of this Stylecraft DK in their spice colourway. So I'm going to neaten that up. So if you would like to send me details, my email address is at the bottom, or you can message me on Ravelry and I will send you a copy of the pattern and also this yarn, which I said I was going to weigh and I still haven't because I'm a bit rubbish. So congratulations, Calamity Jane. You've won yourself a pattern and some yarn to make it with. If you do make it, and if you are on Instagram, or even if you can come back onto the Ravelry group and post a picture, it will be lovely. No pressure. Gosh, this squeaking is driving me mad. I need to sit very still. Right, I should also say that I noticed last week when I was editing that the focus was a little bit fuzzy each time I moved around. So I haven't fiddled this week, but I'm going to try and keep an eye on it. The light is better. I am podcasting in the morning, so the light is, I think, a lot better. Though I did notice when I held up that orange yarn, it went a bit yellow. Are we going? Oh no, that was obviously me. I do think the light is a lot better if I podcast. I have the window over to my right and it's quite bright this morning, so fingers crossed we'll have better colour. You can see also, for those of you who notice these things, I have actually swapped desks this week. Normally I am sitting at the desk behind me and you get this backdrop, which you can't see now, which is my notice board full of all yarny cards and pins and all sorts. And this week when I came to podcast, I cleared the desk and sat down to do it. And my battery was dead in my camera and the power cable is over on this desk here. So I had to do a quick move around and swap everything around. So you get to see, still can't do it, my wall hanging that's over there, and also my beautiful, cord rainbow that Jules sent me, so sweet violet. So that side of the desk is usually where I do my art and my journaling. So I have lots of inspirational stuff over there. I love my wall hanging. That's probably my favourite of all time that I made. And I definitely love Jules' rainbow. I've got some others, but you can't really see them, I don't think. So yes, so you've got that back. And actually, if I move that way, you can see you've got a, that way. Lovely multicolour plastic drawer unit there, but that's got all my paper craft in and stuff like that. Anyway, that was that. Digressing once more. Let's move on to some making, shall we? Because that's what you're here for. Right, this week has been all about socks and blankets and sewing, more sewing and sort of crafting-y stuff like that. So let's have a look. What did I say first? Yes, I have been putting a lot of time into a couple of vanilla socks. One that you've seen already and one that you haven't seen that is new. So I'm going to share those with you first. So let me around a bit, organise. So the first one that you have seen is my self-striping sock from the Dotty Wool Company. Ta-da! Oh, it should go that way, shouldn't it? The ribbing is up here. And I have knit the leg. We have a gold Fish Lips Kiss heel. And then I'm up to the toe. So I took this to the hairdresser yesterday. Oh, I'll tell you about that in a minute. I'll tell you about that in a minute. I took 2 socks and I got them both up to the toe. So I was really pleased. I was hoping to put the toe in last night, but I was so exhausted last night that I barely did any knitting. Oh, I walked to the loom. Yeah, I was shattered, so I walked to the loom, which is probably more physical than knitting. But Anyway, look at that. Oh, and I've got my little ducky stitch marker. I actually have now worked out how many rows, how many rounds. Look at that. I so love that from Rachel. So Ray-me. I've worked out how many rounds after all the time, all those socks I've knit. I've never yet worked out how many rounds that I can be consistent with from the heel to the toe. I haven't got a sock blocker handy, otherwise I would have put this on a sock. So I actually worked out how many I need from the end of the heel there through to where I start the toe. And I'm there on this one. So I think I did a 7-inch. I wanted these to be a little bit longer. I do like long socks, and even though I'm chomping at the bit to start the heel, when I've got them on, because I live in my Doc Martens boots all winter, I like having my socks up at the top and kind of swished down a bit. So it is worth taking the time just to knit that extra length. So this is 7 inches. Then I've put the Fish Lips Kiss heel in there. Sorry, that's rattling. And I used a gold scrap from my minis. Not sure where that came from. So Fish Lips Kiss heel. I thought, seeing as this is meant to be, well, I couldn't put a black one in. I didn't want to put a red one in because if I'd have put a red one, I wanted to match this red, and I didn't have a red that matched it. I couldn't do black because this is navy, and I can't do navy and black together. I really cannot do navy and black. So I decided to go gold. So I thought that would be really nice. And actually, I think it looks really nice. And I'm going to do the toe in gold as well. So I then came down the foot. It's got a few bits of white fluff. My apologies. There, and it's all ready for a gold toe. Then I'll be ready to cast on sock number 2. I'm loving self-striping yarn at the moment. I can't get enough of it. Which is bad news for my wallet. But I'm also using, I pulled out my Chalgu fixed circulars on 2.25mm, and I like to use, I'm pretty sure that's an 80cm cable. 60 I find just a little bit too short for me, but I really like these needles. I don't really, you know me by now, I mix up. I don't have a particular favourite. I'm using DPNs, I use Magic Loop. I have decided that I don't really enjoy using the mini circs. The self-striping socks I was knitting on the mini circs, I just wasn't picking up to work on. So, and I wanted to get those finished, so I have transferred them to Magic Loop. And I know possibly my gauge could be a little bit different, but I'm really not worried. It's a pair of socks. I'll live. Sure, I'm not going to notice if I'm slightly out. But anyway, so this yarn. Now, I put a picture of this on my stories yesterday when I was at the hairdresser's, and a few people commented with Dennis the Menace socks. Do you know, I hadn't even clicked. I wonder if that's why I was drawn to this stripe, this colourway. I was more thinking they're sort of a little bit Halloweeny witchy, so even though I don't do Halloween, it's kind of, you know, seasonal, October-y, long, Pippi Longstocking kind of colours. But now people have said Dennis the Menace. I love it. I should have made them longer, shouldn't I? Those of you not in the UK, Dennis the Menace, I wonder if I can get a quick picture up for you, is a cartoon character who a lot of us would have grown up with. Let's see if I can get a picture. And he would wear a red and blue striped sweater. Where is it? If I can find a cartoon image. And he was a naughty boy. He was always in trouble. He had a dog called Nasher. There we go. That's a good picture. Oh. No, where is a better picture of him? That's it. Okay, I don't know if you can see. There you go. So this is Nasher down here, who was a dog version of Dennis the Menace, really. And he always used to wear that red and black striped sweater. So actually, hang on, there's another one there. Let's show that one. Right, Right, so this is him, and this is a typical Dennis the Menace thing. So if I hold those up, look. They're Dennis the Menace socks. I love it. I don't know whether the dyer behind the Dotty Wool Company, I don't know if she watches the podcast, but if you do let us know whether this was meant to be Dennis the Menace. I mean, it just came through labelled navy and red striped, but I think it's fab. I love this, really love it. So yeah, that's sock number 1. I've probably talked about that quite enough, haven't I? So I'm going to put the toe in possibly later today, seeing as I've got this afternoon. And I will cast on sock number 2. It's funny, do you have phases? Because I have obviously been knitting. Obviously, if you've been following me, you know. I have been knitting patterned socks, so lacy patterned socks for the last little while. I had a thing, I made the Jasmine socks, I made the Soul Sister socks, and I made the my pumpkin socks. What were they? The waving lace socks, which I still have to do sock number 2 on. And then suddenly I'd been making all of those, and I was hankering for vanilla. I was hankering just for a straightforward vanilla sock. And I think that's maybe how we go. Do you go like that? I just wanted to knit. I didn't want to have to look at a pattern. I also have my blueberry waffle socks on the go, which I need to work on this week. It may be this week because I've done a lot of vanilla this week. I moved back to my patterned ones, but you know, there's no knitting police. There's no pattern police, are there? You can pick up whatever pattern you feel like knitting and work on it, and they will all get done that way. Mostly. We'll brush that one under the carpet. Right, so the second sock I was working on this week is a new to you one as well. I showed you the skein a few weeks ago and said that I wanted one of my Christmas cast-ons this year, my socks, to be a colourway, which I have thoughtfully now lost the tact. It was from Debbie at Down Sheepy Lane. It was a couple of years old, and it was when she died up on my insistence, based on the Raymond Briggs animated film, 20 minutes, called Father Christmas. So many of you will know the snowman, but in our house it's a Christmas Eve tradition that we always watch Father Christmas on Christmas Eve. It's 20 minutes long. It's got a fantastic song at the end that he sings. It's voiced by Mel Smith, who was a British comedian, sort of a London geezer, and he was the most grumpy Father Christmas. It was amazing, and he sings a song called Another Blooming Christmas. And so I said to Deb, you have to dye a colourway called Another Blooming Christmas. Please dye a colourway called Another Blooming Christmas. And she did. And I'm ashamed to say it's taken me 2 years to cast on this. But, oh my goodness, it's one of those that in the skein, I didn't know how it was going to knit up. But actually, I am so in love with this yarn. So I've caked it up. So that's it. Caked up. So basically it's red and black. It's got a few gold speckles in it. Oh, I should put that where you can see my mouth move, can't I? How about over there? And it's got some blue. So can you see that blue there? So it's got those sort of speckles. Now, once again, I'm going to see if I can find, I hope you'll forgive me for doing this, but I think it's easier if I can find this and show you a picture. Yes, I should have got this up on my Father Christmas Raymond Briggs, because this is just perfect. If I show you the cover of the book, oh, that is brought up. Oh gosh, can I get that enlarged? There it is. Right, I don't want to zoom. So again, there is the picture. So this is Father Christmas with a bright red nose, rosy cheeks. Oh yeah, it's 40th anniversary edition. Wow. So if I now kind of put that, you can see how brilliant that yarn is. And it's got those blue speckles. It's got the sky blue speckles in it. and you will see that when I show you the, if you haven't watched that, by the way, and even if you haven't got kids, you should so watch it. It's just wonderful. And the song is one that we sing all through, well, we tell ourselves off if we sing it before November, but it's November and December, another blooming Christmas. So are you ready? Now I've harped on about this. Are you ready for what this looks like? Look at that. How fantastic. Oh, my little cat is facing the wrong way because I was clicked that on the wrong way. It's a moody cat. There you go. She's looking the other way. Let's go that side. There you go. Again, I'm on Chow Goose here. So, I mean, if I hold that up and then I hold that up. Oh, not so close. Nicky, not so close. Let's bring that one back. Hang on. The colours have gone. Can I do it there? And you can see it's just perfect. So you've got the black belt, the white beard, the red costume and the blue sky, and they are all in that yarn, and it's coming up as a kind of a stripe pattern. I just think, oh, there's the rib. I just think that is the most perfect Christmas colourway. I put plain red heel, again fish lips kiss heel. This was some red West Yorkshire spinners in, couldn't tell you the colourway, but it's their red anyway that they do on their plain colours. And you can see that actually that works fine with the red in the dyed yarn. But just look at that, the way, oh, this is amazing. This is possibly one of my favouriteest colourways, the way that's worked up. So again, I've knit down to the toe. So I'm going to pop a red toe in there and I'm going to cast on sock number 2 because I cannot wait. And I will most likely have enough left over if I've got time to knit Hannah a pair of shorty socks for Christmas in that, because I don't want to waste any of this. It's wonderful. I have been chatting with Debbie this week and I have said to her that I am going to encourage everybody to contact her and say, dye this yarn this year. We want to make another blooming Christmas sock. I should have that as a knit along, shouldn't I? Another blooming Christmas sock knit along. Maybe in November that's what we'll do. That would be really fun. Because then, I wonder if I could get away with playing you the song. I won't sing it. That's probably not kind, but yeah. Okay, now I'm going to sing it. Here goes. The chorus is, so I'll jump up on my sleigh and we'll all fly away to another blooming Christmas. Okay, that was really bad. But you get the idea. And at the end, he has a children's choir singing it and they all cheer and shout. And oh, it's just wonderful. Another blooming Christmas. So there you go. That is the sock. I want everybody to get on to Debbie down Sheepy Lane. Make her dye this yarn. To be honest, if she dyes it up, I'll probably buy another skein and knit another pair if we do another blooming Christmas knit along. So, yeah. And, yeah, just saying Debbie is my friend. But, oh, this yarn, I just love it. That said, I've got some self-striping yarn from Helen, Giddy Yarns, which I also love, and I got some more self-striping yarn. But for yarn that's not sold as self-striping, because it's not, doesn't really count as self-striping, but it is just amazing. Banged on about that enough, haven't I? So that's sock number 1 of a pair, but number 2 of the ones I've been working on this week. And actually, bearing in mind, I hadn't cast that on. I cast that on last Friday. So I put quite a bit of time into that because I've loved it so much. Okay, so that is that. Quick coffee break. Right, what else have I got to show you? Ba-doop, doop, doop. Okay, let's talk about blankets. So a new cast on and the death of a blanket. Dun, 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 dun. In fact, I wasn't going to show it. I will though. I'm going to get it. Hold on a sec. Hold on a sec. I'll be right with you, my lovelies. Here we go. Right, I'm back. And I'm not going to cut that bit out because life's too short. And I'm, right, that's, oh dear, that's another project that's found its way into that blanket. I was working on, you know, I had 2 blankets on the go. I had the Cupcake Stripe blanket by Attic 24. That is, oh, it's going great guns. I put some more rows onto that this week. I'm not going to show it to you this week because, you know, I'd rather wait until I've done a bit more. I'm probably not that far from the end, so I really want to get working on that. Perhaps I should give myself a deadline to the end of October to get that done. I might do that. Shall I write that down? Because I'll forget. I would write it down if I had a pen on this desk. Why would you have a pen on a desk? You'd have one on the desk behind you, wouldn't you? Oh, there's no pen. Okay, I'm not going to write that down, but I am going to make a mental note. Yeah, see how that goes. I also cast on, and this was influenced partly by Cherie, Ollie and Bella. Cherie, my friend, and when we set up the Scrappy Blanket Adventures make-along, and I thought, okay, I've never been into Scrappy Blankets that much. I seem a bit lower. Am I lower since I sat down? Is my chair sinking? I'm going to go, ew. But I love the Bits and Bobs blanket by Bakery Bears K. Can't think of her surname. I do know it about it. So I bought the pattern for the Bits and Bobs blanket, and I started making it. And I decided because my Cupcake Stripe blanket, I'm gonna have to sit up a bit now because I think my Cupcake Stripe blanket is all pastel-y and pale and absolutely beautiful, I have to say. Why have I got a yellow thing on my... Yeah, I don't know, is that telling me I've only got 5 minutes left on my card? Oh man, technology. I've got it plugged in and now my blooming thingy card is running out. Anyway, I cast it on as a darker one. So that's it. So I was holding, I had, with my cupcake one, I am holding Minnie's double with some cream, some natural drops alpaca. And I'm doing the same with this one, but I'm using grey and navy and the other dark colours I had in my stash. And I think, you know, I mean, okay, it looks really nice now. But, so there it is. And in my... It's such a squishy, lovely blanket. But in my enthusiasm, when I cast on, I made it really wide. Really wide. I mean, you know, that's still not... I mean, this cable, this is 100, this is a metre cable. And it's still really scrunched up on it, you can see. I was going to frog it. I decided, and the reason I decided to frog it was because I cannot cope with dropping down in this and correcting my mistakes. And I do make mistakes. If I'm not concentrating, I lose where I am with this fisherman's rib. And I really struggle with correcting the mistakes. And it really irritates me. Not only that, it's not a quick knit. I mean, I put quite a few hours onto this and I've still only got, what, 4 inches, 5 inches? I don't love doing it, but, I mean, it's so nice. I don't know what to do. There's a mistake there. So the plan was, anyway, the plan was to frog it. What do you think? Should I leave it? Should I just hibernate it perhaps until such time as I come back to it? It just irritates me. There's not many mistakes, but I can see them. I did go through, I really looked hard. I found a tutorial to learn how to correct the mistakes when you miss one. But I keep forgetting how to do it, so I keep having to look back. Hang on, let's turn it round that way. I don't know. It's so... Okay, I don't think I'm going to frog that just yet. I think that's just going to sit in my bag. I'm using bright colours, so that doesn't impact on my other blankets. So... And I also had set up my secret diary of a Scrappy blanket with one of my fabric covers. So I put that on the outside. So that was the inside, but I actually made a fabric cover, and this is a little bit quilted as well. And so I have started adding all my pages and the yarns. Okay, I'm going to, K Jones, it says it on the pattern, K Jones. I'm going to put that to one side. What do you think? Do you think I should frog it if I'm not loving it, or should I just leave it and maybe come back to it? Okay, right. Now, it looks very much like my SD card is about to die. I've got 1 minute left now. So I think this is going to cut out. So just have a break, go to the loo, go and make yourself a cup of tea, go and let the dog out, whatever. I'm going to sort this out and I will be right back. Okay, we're back. It's a little bit longer of a gap than I had anticipated, and I think the light is different now. Or am I being obsessive about that? Never mind. And I just have Honey over there, but she's looking out the window, so she might bark. Jonah is taking Henry out for a walk. I also had to go and reformat my doofur thing, and then ring up and book a car service for Joe's car because he doesn't like talking on the phone. Fabulous paramedic, talking on the phone. No, mate. What is it? Mind you, the girl on the end of the phone said, yeah, it's a man thing. Anyway, moving on. Where was I? Ah, the bits and bobs blanket. Okay, so we're going to leave that for now. You can let me know what you think down below if you like, if you want to. I then decided I wanted to make another Scrappy blanket. Sorry, they're shouting outside. I hope you can't hear that either. I'm really distracted now. Sorry. Okay, I wanted to make a Scrappy blanket. Now, I have avoided making piecemeal ones, so like Hexies or the Battenberg blankets or the Granny Squares, anything like that, because I will make a certain number and then I give up. Case in point, my sunny spread throw, which I won't show you now, it's actually sitting here. Well, actually, look, I can show you this because I joined it together because I gave up making all the different doofers. So that's where I got to in that. That's now just going to sit there because I don't like the edging anyway. It's too small. I need to do more of these flowers, and again, maybe I'll come back to that. Whatever. That's been on the go for a couple of years. But I thought this time I found one I fancied doing, and I think subliminally I got the idea from Cherie. Ollie and Bella Cherie, who I talked about aforesaid, and she was talking about doing one, and I actually thought a log cabin blanket sounded really nice, especially with the whole quilting thing that we like as well. So I googled, didn't Google, I went on Ravelry and I found a free pattern for a log cabin Scrappy blanket, and I decided to start one, and oh my goodness, I am loving it. I am absolutely loving it. So here's the pattern. I'm fairly certain it's a free pattern, and I'm sorry, the colour picture is much nicer than the black and white, but that's basically it. So it's by Very Pink Knits, or Very Pink who is Stacey Perry. And let me see. I put her on. I have started, I think, a project for this on my Ravelry page. But anyway, it's the Log Cabin Scrap Blanket. Let me show you this again. There, by Stacey Perry. And basically, exactly what it says on the tin. You knit squares, you knit log cabin blocks. This particular one is 12 blocks, and then you put the banding in between, and then you put the border on, and there's your blanket. So you only have to knit 12 blocks. The blocks themselves are quite big but totally doable, which I'll show you in a moment. And again, I measured out how many. I decided to hold my scrappy yarn or my mini skeins double, so I've not held them with a neutral colour or anything there. I just held as they are. That's the plan. I'm going to have to double check. I'm sure this is a free pattern, but I am going to look because I really don't want to. I can't read it. No, it's not on my Ravelry page. Bear with. Log cabin scrappy blanket. I'm sure it's free. There it is. It's the first one that comes up. It is free. Yay! I was right. So let's show you this picture in colour while I've got it here. It's really pretty. Look. So what she's done is used different colours for the blocks. I am actually using blocks of colour, the same colours, but that's how the blocks are constructed. So you knit the centre one there, then you pick up and knit the first there, and then along. Oh, it's back to front for me. And you can see here I was working out each bit to see how much, and actually you can get them all from a 10-gram mini. So in my gauge anyway. Now I'm holding I'm holding yarn double, fingering weight yarn double, and I'm using 4.5mm needles. So, and I can get all these blocks take no more than 10 grams. So I have done 1 3/4. The first one then I did is blue. Ta-da! Look at that. I love it. I love it. Now, I hadn't really thought about the colour scheme when I started. So I did this first one. I thought it'd be nice to have a darker one in the middle. And then, I don't know, I just naturally veered to other blues. I didn't even think about mixing colours here. So after I'd put about 4 in, I realised that this was going to be a blue one. And then I thought it'd be really nice to do it like a block colour rainbowy type one, not necessarily a rainbow, but whatever colours I've got. So that is my blue one. So you can really see. So you knit, hang on, sorry, get my things right. So this was the first one you knit, the central one. Then this you pick up down here and knit 10. Really can't do this. I really need to get my act together with this back to front business, don't I? Really struggle. And anyway, you get the gist. You basically, there you go. Can you see that? Whatevs. Look at the pattern is. So you pick up down the side of the last bit of the block that you've just finished, and you do 10 rows of garter, 10 rows, which is 20 rows, to get 10 ridges of garter stitch. And then you cast off, and then you turn it anti-clockwise, you pick up, knit 10, cast off, turn it anti-clockwise, pick up, like that. Is that, well, I'm turning it anti-clockwise, it might not be anti-clockwise. Anyway, so that's the blue one. And then I didn't get this finished because I was doing the socks yesterday. I started a pink one. Ta-da! So that's my pink one. So again, let's put it on the, there you go, that's better. These things, the yarn's still attached. I'm still got about 5 rows of the current one that I'm making. So, I'm so loving this. I'm so enjoying this. I've got a vague idea what some of these minis are. I'm not really tracking where these are from. It's a whole mishmash and it would slow me down too much at this stage. I just want to crack on. So I just pulled all the pinks out that I had and started work on them. So we'll have the first 2, a pink and a blue, and then I'll probably do a cream banding in between, or maybe a really light soft grey. Yep, I'm saying grey. But I think I'm going to look for things. I need to do a green, a lilac. I did order some minis from Lay Family Yarn when Kelly had her update on Sunday. I did order a skein of one of her Christmas colourways. And I also ordered her sort of beigey fawn set of minis because I know I won't have much in the way of browns in my stash. I've got obviously going to have purples. And I'm not sure green is another one. So I'm kind of just having to look out because a lot of my stash are variegated or speckled. So yeah, I'm going to have to really get through the minis, I think, to make this. But I've only got to make, 12. I've nearly done 2, so there's only another 10. And then I'm happy to I'll probably buy some, I don't know, some generic or some Cascade 220 or something like that to knit the banding and the border. And I think that will be brilliant. I'm so enjoying that, so loving that. And it's garter stitch, and each panel, each block, so like this bit here and this bit here, they don't take that long really. They're easy to pick up and put down. Really, really recommend that to you. It's such an enjoyable knit. I do have a project bag for it, but it's one of my woven ones, a big padded woven one, but it's in the other room, so I can't show you that. So that's the blanket I'm in love with at the moment. So hopefully next week I'll have a few more blocks to show you, which will be really cool. Right, now, I do have, before we move on to other crafts, namely weaving and stitching, I do have a bit of Blame the Hormones to share with you. At the weekend, yeah, I was feeling, I don't know, it's been a funny old week. But anyway, I went on to Lucy Locketland, her shop, who I know of, but I haven't bought from before. And she advertised, I got caught out with an Instagram, people you may like. Fell hook, line and sinker for that one. She has designed some hot water bottle covers, and she was doing kits. Now, as you know, I love colour work. I really, really love colour work. And I love Shetland wool, and she's put together these kits. And I bought a kit. It was like, yeah, I want to make that. I'm going to buy it. I think it would be really great for a Christmas gift. I've got a couple of people in mind who it might be suitable for. This is the picture of it's obviously paid for, so there's nothing, so there you go. It's so lovely. So it's available in, I think, 4 different colourways, the kit, and I went for, okay, these are all in this bag, but you can see an idea of the colours. Tealy blue, this is a really pale pretty blue, so it's sort of a dove blue grey. It's not really coming out, you can't see the blue in that, I don't think, but it's basically the colourway for the picture I just showed you. But there are others. There's some really nice Scandi ones, sort of red and cream, but I thought that was really lovely. So I bought that, and I thought it was a really good price as well, because you get seven balls of the Jamieson & Smith Shetland wool, of which I used to have a huge dash of Jamiesons and Smiths, but I think a lot of it went to the charity shop a couple of years ago, because it was all bits from when had been doing colour work, and of course I just went off colour work for a couple of years. I was knitting with the indie dyed, superwash merino, which isn't super suitable for colour work. Anyway, I saw that, I thought, love that, I'm going to have that, so I bought it. And it came yesterday, and stuff that I ordered, last week hasn't come yet. So, she was really on it with the postage. Now, Henry is just coming back with Jonah, so if there's a bit of noise, I apologise. You'll probably hear lots of pattering because he goes mad. In fact, I'm going to have to let Honey in because they both get a treat once one of them comes in from a walk. Although Honey is fast asleep, so I may not have to. Let's carry on anyway and hope for the best. So yeah, that was my blame the hormones moment. That's Henry at the door. So let's move on to some weaving. Now I have, as you know, been weaving some tea towels. Last week I spoke about, I had a project on the loom that I was going to get off the loom and it needed washing and so on. And I've got it to show you because I don't know what to do with it, basically. I made it originally to make it into a small-ish throw, but I got my sizes wrong, and for various reasons, it doesn't matter why, and it hasn't worked. It didn't come out as big as I wanted it to come out, but it did produce, and it's not been pressed either. It's been washed and spun dry and hung on the line. Spun. So what I do, I hand wash my blankets, my weaving, but I spin them in the washing machine and then they either dry flat or they go out on the line. So this is the fabric that I wove. It's a fair size. Can you see the bottom of it there? And it's that long. There. Oh, Henry's at the door. So, and it's all purples and greens and cream. Hang on. There you go. Oh, sorry, there's someone at the door. Let's talk amongst ourselves. She's being very loud. Is she gone? Yes. Oh, it's the postwoman. Sorry about that. Yeah, so we've got greens and creams and purples. It's such a pretty plaid. And this is all from leftovers that I've collected over the last year or two. A lot of it is dyed in the wool yarn. So it's yarn that's been spun to look like hand spun. Some of it is hand spun. Some of it is Yarn Hero, who is a dyer from the States that's stocked at Tribe Yarns. It's very similar to Spin Cycle. There may even be a little bit of Spin Cycle in here. But,
Special delivery. Special delivery.
Somebody always has to make an appearance on this, don't they? Are you dressed?
Yeah.
So you can come and say hello. Look at all that. Dip down and say hello. Oh, look at that. Oh my goodness.
I'm about to take the dog out and I can't take them off because otherwise I'll be blind.
Thank you very much. Oh, this is all very exciting. Okay, I did just say I hadn't actually bought an awful lot, and now I'm going to, yeah, go away. Thank you.
Come on, honey.
And keep Henry out there as well.
Henry's there.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Right. Okay. I do apologise for my errant daughter. I've got a very exciting delivery there, which I'm not going to share with. Oh, I've got lots of exciting deliveries. Okay, finish the podcast. You can go now so I can open my post. Anyway, back to this. Yeah, so I don't know whether to make I could do anything. I mean, it's cloth, so I could cut it easily. I could make project bags with this. I could make cushions. I could cut it in half, stitch it together again and make a scarf. I don't know. So can you help me? Help me to know, what do you reckon I should make? I mean, I could get quite a few project bags out of this, and it would be really nice. It's a very woolly, lovely feel actually. I was quite assertive with it when I was soaking it, because I wanted it to felt slightly, because it's woolly wool, and I wanted it to give it that really lovely sort of blankety feel. But I think it's just too small. I mean, maybe it's not too small. Maybe you don't think it's too small as a throw. Let me just show you. I've got a feeling we've got another delivery coming now. So that's the width, and then that's it. So it's an Amazon delivery. So it's down to just below my knees. So I suppose if I was putting it on, oh, here we go again. What is going on here? Now Henna's going to bark. No, we're all right. If I was sitting on the settee and throwing that across my lap, that would be really pretty. It would be really nice. It would keep me warm. Maybe I ought to do that and just finish it off. Except I cut the fringe, so it would have to be just a very short fringe. I don't know. What do you think? I would appreciate your comments to tell me what you think I ought to do with that. And that was my weaving. And I have warped the loom. I'm sorry, that's very disjointed, that segment, wasn't it? With Hannah coming and going and deliveries and parcels. I'm surprised we haven't been interrupted before, to be honest, though. So that was the weaving. Yes, I have warped the loom for another tea towel. As I said, I'm going to just gently keep making tea towels. And then at some point I will either sell them or give them away. Not sure, depends how many I make, really. So that's that. Then I have been making more of the scented sachets for project bags, or for you know, your sock drawer or whatever. I've been making some cedarwood ones. Some people have asked me for some, so I've made those up. I'm going to keep making those again, just keep making them. These ones, so different type of Mary Poppins fabric, but these, so divine. They're orange with a hint of vanilla, but mostly orange. Oh, they're so gorgeous. They're just sitting on my table for the moment. And then, and this relates to what has just arrived in the post actually, I knew that I wanted to make some special type of project bags. Very specific, and I won't go into the details what they are or what they're for right at the moment. Let me just pop these down there. But I knew I wanted to make some little drawstring ones. Now I can make zippered bags. I don't have a problem making project bags with zips, and if anyone's seen my woven ones, you know that that's what I've done plenty of. But I've never made drawstring ones. So I found a pattern, a simple pattern, and thought I'll use some scraps and so on, and just had a go. And so my first ever drawstring bag was this one. It's so cute, and I was ridiculously excited about this. I was really, really happy with this. Now I've got the ribbon a bit caught up. So this is just scraps from my fabric box. This is from a fat quarter that Hannah bought when she was making masks, and this is a scrap from, oh, years ago I had this. I've just bought something similar to this actually from Rachel at So Ray Me, but it's a slightly different green. So I made that, and then I thought that's too small, obviously. So I thought I want to make a bigger one, and I want to make it a little bit prettier. This one I didn't line, so I made another one, and at the same time I decided, oh, it's heavy, but it's because I've got a sachet in there. I have for many a year wanted to learn how to free motion machine embroidery. I bought this book about 5 years ago by Poppy Treffy, who I'm sure a lot of you know already. And the reason I bought the sewing machine that I have is because it was one that I knew could be adapted for free motion machine embroidery. But after a few attempts, I'd never really got back into it or learnt how to do it properly. So for some reason, the stars aligned at the weekend and I decided I was going to have another go because I wanted to make something. And so I made a new project bag and I did some machine embroidery. And that, oh, it's very creased, but that is what I did. So I did lots of squiggles on there, and then I did the outline in red. Then I used my machine function, my machine embroidery function, to put these hearts on. So they're all round the bottom. There's nothing on the back of there. But I absolutely love this little bag. I also lined it this time with just straightforward, it's just a plain calico, and I used my pinking shiz to finish off the inside, and then that's it. And I had some leftover scrapbooking stuff that says happily ever after. Oh, isn't that lovely? And that's my little project bag, and I'm so pleased with it. It's so dainty and so lightweight. So there's no interfacing or anything. And I'm keeping a sachet of the cinnamon and orange in there. Doesn't make the project smell, but when you waft out, when you get it out and you open the bag, you get a whiff of that, which is nice. So I'm thrilled with that. So I have been practicing on some more free motion embroidery. I did another one there. This won't really show up, but I did. Oh, can you see? You probably can't see all the green. It's quite a pale green on there. And I'm just going to keep practicing with it because I've got some ideas for that and I'm really excited about doing that. These bags, however, you're going to be seeing more of these. I had this one at the hairdresser's yesterday, and my hairdresser knows that I'm a creative, crafty person. She loves my weaving. She's seen my weaving before. And I showed her this bag and she went absolutely bonkers over it. She said, oh, you've got to make those. You've got to make those. Aren't they perfect for gift giving? You could put a little gift in there and give it to someone instead of having to wrap it up. She said, or even as one of those sort of bags you have within your handbag. So like if you need a little bag, you could put a mask and some sanitizer and some tissues or whatever in it. So when you change handbags, you just have to lift that out and put that in the handbag rather than having to keep faffing around. And she was coming up with all these ideas and getting terribly excited, and she really loved it. So I was really encouraged because I do want to make some more of these. I've got loads of fabric, loads of pretty fabric. As I say, the joy of these is they're so lightweight. And I'm just loving the drawstring. And there are so many uses. You don't even have to use them as a project bag, do you? Even though I will. But yeah, now that's related then to what has just arrived. But I'm going to save that for you for next week. So that was that bag. Then going down my scraps, I remembered that I had a whole load of squares of wool fabric. So sort of felted and kind of woven effect wool squares I bought from Moda, directly from Moda or from a factory store from Moda, with just sort of random size and shapes, sort of about like that, of squares of wool. And I thought it would be wonderful to actually patch those together and to make a bag. So I did. And this is the bag. Ta-da! Oh, it's got threads hanging from it. There you go. And I've got my Oh, wrong side. I got my Hugs from Clara pin on there, which is my own wooden pins that I used to give with my blankets. And so these are all, and it goes both sides. This is felt, this is felted, and again, it's a drawstring. It's obviously a little bit more bulky. It's not got a box bottom or anything like that. It's just got a stitched normal bag type of bottom. And then I lined it again, don't look because I haven't finished the insides, but I lined it with just a plain muslin, calico type effect, and then I bought some cord. Because it's a slightly heavier duty bag, I thought cord would be better. But how cool is that? I think that is such a lovely bag. So yeah, there it is. That's my another project bag I made. I love this whole, you know, raggle-taggle stuff that it's me. I just put things together. I just love just picking, oh, I'll do that with that, or I'll do that with that. And I love this, and I love the fact that this is wool. And it looks really kind of, I don't know, country. No, it's not really country-y. But, and some of it is, the red one in particular, you can see is patterned like a tweedy pattern. And I think, yeah, the blue one it's herringbone, but you can't see that so much. And then you've got cream one here. So, yeah, that's one of my favourites as well. Loving my stuff at the moment. I just want to make everything. I want to have a shop. I want to have an Etsy shop or a shop full of the whole kind of mishmash kind of emporium of bits and bobs and makes of things and bits and ideas. And sorry, I'm getting carried away now. That's kind of what I would really like to do. So, you know, I can put weaving in there. I can put my the fragrance sachets in there. I can put these project bags in there. I can put those bags in there. I can put little knitted things. I can put and my gnomes. And I just like to have this. So you walk into this little kind of I had cotton on my nose then. That was weird. My camera's doing weird things. So it's like walking into this little magical, dusty, musty front door and then opening it up into this whole range of all these beautiful, pretty handmade things that you never realised you needed, but you want to have anyway. Okay, that's... I get a bit excited. You never know, that might come. It might come one of these days. What else then have I got here? I think that is pretty much it. You'll either be going, phew, or you'll be going, yay, or ooh, or whatever. I lost my focus completely. I'm not sure how long that is, but I was going to do a very quick book recommendation. So rather than a book review, and I'm not going to even attempt to go and sit in my chair because Henry's there, he's sitting there, he's looking out the window. So yeah, you don't get any of that this week. All his stardom went quite to his head last week, I can tell you. He's just turned around to look at me. A book that I wanted to recommend just before I sign off and say cheerio is this one. It's not a new one. Again, it's a knitting book. Now, I may have mentioned it on one of my vlogs last year. I'm not sure, which coming up to a year ago that I did my very first vlog in November last year. Yeah, A Stash of One's Own, edited by Clara Parkes, but it's sort of an anthology of chapters from all different knitters. So there you go, A Stash of One's Own. And you can see, if you want to write down the ISBN number, it's there. You can pause it on that. If not, I'll put the details down below anyway. And this is basically, as it says on the back, a heartwarming anthology of stories that celebrate yarn, specifically the knitter's reputation for acquiring it in large quantities and storing it away in what's lovingly referred to as a stash. And then the essays in there is knitters on loving, living with and letting go of yarn. And you can see the names of the people who have contributed there. And they're pretty well known. So I've talked to you about Stephanie Pearl McPhee before. Her essay in here is cracking. It's brilliant. You've got Susan B. Anderson. Well, you would have seen these. Amy Herzog, Gudrun Johnson, Anna Maltz, Anne Shane, Gillian Moreno. There's all sorts of people. It's such a lovely book to read. And it's basically... oh, here you are. Let's read this again, just so you get an idea rather than me just talking about it. Clara Parkes gathers tales from 22 knitters and examines a subject that is irresistible to us all, the yarn stash. Anyone with a passion has a stash, whether it is a collection of books or enough yarn to exceed several life expectancies. I don't know what they're talking about. With her trademark wry, witty approach, Parkes brings together fascinating stories from all facets of stash keeping and knitting life. Whether the yarn stash is muse, memento, creative companion, career guide or lifeline in tough times, these deeply engaging stories take a surprising and fascinating look at why we collect, what we cherish and how we let go. And it is, it's a delightful book. It's lovely. And the fact is, it's one of those books where you can pick it up and put it down piecemeal, because you can just read, one essay at a time, which is, divided into chapters. So it's just 23, including Clara Parkes' own story, people's thoughts and humour and emotional tie to their stash and what it means to them, whether you should have or whether you've got a stash. We won't use the word should because that's just a rubbish word. But, some people prefer not to have a stash. Some people did have a big stash and then got rid of it and now they don't, and they talk about why. So it's great. It's great. Really good book, that. So if you can either get it, obviously I think it's available on Audible actually, as well as, the hard copy. I bought this. This was just being published when Pom Pom magazine had their Pom Fest in London, which would have been, it was kind of an anniversary event. I can't remember. Oh, Honey's coming in now, so Henry's going to be going mad. It would have been probably about 4 or 5 years ago in London, and I was helping out. I was up there with Amy, who of Stranded Dye Works, and we were running a stand there in the marketplace. And oh my goodness, talk about the who's who of people who were there. They really, really put on a good show. I met and chatted with Bristol Ivy. That was really cool. I met Clara Parkes and chatted with her. Met loads of other people. It was really great. And Clara Parkes was there to launch this and do, she was reading a few chapters from it. They had lots of kind of seminar discussions and classes on things, which I didn't get to because I was manning a stall in the marketplace. But and I bought it soon after and loved it. I dig into this regularly. I pick it up when I need a knitting hit or a bit of yarn inspiration. I will pick up this book, and never fails to either make me smile, to make me want to come and sort of caress my yarn, look at all my colours, reorganise it as we all do, and generally appreciate it. So yeah, that's my recommendation for the week. Without too much aggro from Henry, which is good. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up now because it's lunchtime and my tummy's going to start rumbling. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. I hope you've enjoyed the bits I showed you. And I hope you've had a good week. Don't forget to hop over to the Ravelry Group if you're interested in joining in the chatter thread there. Do click on like if you want to, and subscribe if you want to subscribe. You'll get notifications, and it helps. I believe I've heard other people say this. It kind of the numbers, and depending on what you do, then enables it to make the suggestion of this podcast to other people who watch similar things. I think that's how it works basically. So yeah, that's all from me. I am going to go and spend this afternoon doing a bit of weaving and a bit of more blanket knitting and a bit more sock knitting, and I'm going to open my post. So exciting, and I will share that with you next week. In the meantime, have a wonderful week. Take good care of yourselves wherever you may be in this challenging world at the moment, and do your very best to keep cheerful. Love and hugs. Bye.